the philosophy of the club will be set, and then we'll be looking to bring someone in to carry that philosophy through. I think it's arrogant beyond belief.
You feel it would have been an easy way?
Can I just mention something here? Just on the back of that, I came in the February. You mentioned about Colin. I came in the February and joined, and within a very short space of time, it was very obvious as a business, and we're talking about the business of football. As a business, this club was not going to survive through the second season, through this season. Yeah. I took on the responsibility as the chairman because I really believed that there is something here. Now, that was prior to Colin coming in. So what I tried to do with the board is put a structure in place that we would at least give ourselves a little bit of time to evaluate whether or not we could survive or not. And we did that by having a very, very aggressive commercial activity, which proved to be very successful. But you couldn't walk away from the fact. It was very obvious looking at the accounts that there was a black hole. There had been a black hole virtually every year. That black hole, you sit down and first look at it and think, well, okay, if we do this and we do that, you might be able to raise some of that deficit. And we did that early doors, but we still had to pull forward certain amounts of money. But then what happens is, and what happened very clearly, when Colin joined, Colin and I sat down quite early on and I tried to outlay to Colin what he was getting himself into. And I said, Colin, we've got to find a way of generating more money, and we've got to find a way of eradicating, we need a capital input. Now that was a discussion we had long before Colin made a decision on his own through him and Kelly, his daughter, to make an investment. So you sort of did your due diligence on the back of what I'd already told you. The reality was November, December is right. I said to Colin, we wouldn't have got beyond November. But we paid everybody up until then, and we did everything properly within the business. And then eventually we sat down and said it needs a certain level of capital to come in. By that time, during this season, within that period of time between probably the start of the season and November, the pieces of the jigsaw that Colin brought to the table when we sat around and started to develop were the revenue streams. And you could see then that there was a chance. There was a chance that the club could make it. And I think that, through some very creative marketing, creative business awareness, those revenue streams and there are lots of them, have started to become reality. The capital input was essential. We were looking around before you put your money in, Colin. We were looking around other areas that we could get investment, and let's be honest with you, it wasn't. Kidderminster Harriers wasn't a business proposition for a lot of people. It needed somebody that had a total belief in what they could achieve. And to be fair, I've got to say, since the investment that was put in, on top of everything else, the club is going to break even this year. First time probably ever. It will break even, and it will be in a very, very sound situation going forward next season. To such an extent, the reality is that it seems quite weird, really, because we're 9 games away from the end of the season, and I think I used a kind of phrase that it's like a death of a thousand knives, because every game we know that we're probably going to end up at this stage in the season now, unless leagues don't tell lies, that we may well be in the league below. But the reality of the situation, we're absolutely excited about next season. We can't wait. It's regardless of the league we're in. Yeah. The position of this football club is in a very, very strong position, probably the strongest it's been, and I think we put in the State of the Nation for 15 years. And that seems quite surreal, because your general public and the fan base that come here for the next game are looking to see that win, obviously, but the inevitability of going down is a horrible thought when you've not been there. For a long, long time the club hasn't been at that level of football. So it's not a nice situation to be in, but having said that, we are very, very excited about the prospect of what's going forward. And I can't say it enough, but you've got to, you're always tapering it with the sense of reality of the position that we're in at the moment.
How close are you to head coach for next season?
Well, it's something we're discussing all the time, to be honest.
You're very close, you're down 3 yards.
To be honest with you, we've got real strong views about the way we want to take the football, and we're doing it now. It's happening now.
I would imagine, ideally you'd want someone in, if not at the end of the season, then as early in the summer, because you want that
It's very difficult to go and appoint someone at the moment. It might be in a job.
Mm.
You know, Rafa Benitez is trying to do it at the minute, but it's and he's not applied for this apart from everything else he's applied for. But you know, we're fully aware of what we want, and we want someone who's going to carry forward the philosophy of the club.
Yeah.
Because it's pointless us putting the philosophy in right the way through the age groups, for then someone to be completely at the other end of the spectrum as to what we want. We want someone who comes in and believes in what we believe in, and we know what we want to achieve. And we've got our thoughts, we've got our ideas, we've got our targets, but we can't really do anything about it at the moment.
Yeah.
Other than we are making those people aware we'd like to talk to them when the time's right.
Yeah.
I've got a slightly different view on it than Colin, and Colin wouldn't say this, but I feel very strongly about it. I would have Colin all day, and it's not because he's sitting here. I've already told him he doesn't. You know, we have different opinions about it, but I think the philosophy that we want of the football that we want to see, the brand of football that we want to see, we're getting some of it now. And I actually think this club, it's not the Kidderminster Harriers it was 3 years ago. It's a different club altogether. And what it's going to be next year is going to be a different club. And I think the style of football we play is going to be different. And I think the philosophy can't be carried out better than the person himself that believes in it massively. And I think that my idea of a setup of a coach would be Colin working with two other people as a team of three, as opposed to the conventional manager sitting there. I don't think the conventional manager, I've been there myself for 25 years in Conference North and down, I don't think the conventional manager nowadays would work under that remit, the remit that we want to see. And I think the best person to do it would be Colin. The difficulty Colin has about it is that he's involved in so many other things on a daily basis as well. It's taken a lot of stress out of him, you know, but that's how I see it, and I'm happy enough to go on record to say it, you know.
But you've already said that you don't want to be head coach.
No,
that's the argument we have. That's the difference of opinion.
I mean, because
Arm wrestling or?
No, I think I take on board. I think I've still probably got to have an involvement. The philosophy's got to be adhered to. I think there's a better use of my skill set, but you know, the chairman's not met the candidates that I'd like him to meet as yet. Actually, he's met one or two. But yeah, the point he's made is a good point. But fans will be saying, "Hang on, you know, look at the results, and you know, it's not going great." But I'd argue that had we not lost Elton, we would be a very, very good team. And I think everybody who's played has admitted that we're a very good team. But we didn't have the opportunity or the benefit of a pre-season and going into it. I'm qualified. Yeah, qualified. Yeah, can I do it? Yeah, absolutely. Is it the best use of my time? No, I think that's debatable. I don't think it is. But the way it will look wouldn't be a million miles away from what the chairman's suggesting there. But the responsibility of the team and selection and tactics, etc., probably would be better suited on somebody else's shoulders. But it's all there for discussion. At our best, which would be kind of easily here at home, and you know, the number of people, managers from pro clubs that were there that night that phoned me and said, "My God, that was unbelievable to watch," and the fan base saying, "Well, that's the best football we've seen in years." That's what we want to achieve, and that's what we can achieve. But unfortunately, with the frailty of the squad, we lose a big piece of that squad in Elton, and we've been struggling to replicate that since. In patches where we passed the ball and played Braintree off the pitch and kept the ball off Cheltenham for a half an hour and kept the ball off Wrexham for half an hour, great in patches. But if you lose key components in our current position, it's harmful. What we need to be able to do is have a stronger, more in-depth squad that can cope with the loss of a major player better. And we can't do with that at the moment. We are where we are, and but the change in personnel, in style, in philosophy and approach from where we were 3 weeks before is enormous. But it happened overnight. That's the point. Yeah, we did it overnight, from Stourbridge to Eastleigh. Was a very, very small step, a very, very small step, but it happened overnight with some new personnel, but definitely with a new approach. And we can continue to do that, there's no question about it, but we've got to bring in
But what you
like-minded
see
people.
now, and this is where I say I don't think you give yourself enough credit at times, Colin. What you see now compared to what we will have for the start of the season in terms of availability for the head coach to be able to go and acquire, we're working from and I think we've advertised it, we're working from a budget that's been what we can afford now because of everything else that we've paid. You know, and so we're therefore working with the players that we've robbed Peter to pay Paul in some case, and I think what we've done is miraculous in the latter period, albeit that we've not always got the result. I think the performances and the way we're playing is a testament to what you've achieved in a very short space of time. You then take that as a plain piece of paper at the start of the pre-season, and you add into that 2 or 3 quality players on top of the ones we've got that we want to retain here now. You add in, you know, 4 or 5 good youngsters that will be available here to come into it's a completely different ballgame.